Hey, it's April with A Possible Diet, and today we are doing stuffed chicken thighs, Spanakopita style. So it's got like some spinach, some feta, some onion, and you can do this as a Hasselback chicken. That's kind of like where you get a chicken breast and you cut slits in it and you stuff the filling in there. But I like to do this with thighs because they're, always moist. I don't mind a little dark meat. I find that it's still pretty healthy. It's not like I'm eating a pound of bacon, like a chicken thigh. It's organic, boneless, skinless. It's pretty good. So what you're gonna need for this recipe is 8 ounces of thawed frozen spinach. It works out to not that much spinach when you kind of squeeze all the water out. So make sure you squeeze the water out. And then I'm using my garlic confit, but you can use fresh garlic if you want. Just a tablespoon of this roasted garlic, and then half a cup of diced white onion. Just dice it pretty fine. And then this is a combination of feta and pizza blend. You can use mozzarella if you have mozzarella, any kind of white cheese, Monterey Jack, Provolone. This is just what they had at the store. But the feta is nice because it gives it like a nice little tang that's very Greek. And then there's 2 other ingredients that I use in this dish that you may not have at home, but you can improvise. I use Sel Fou. I have a recipe for Sel Fou in one of my other videos, so I'll be sure to link to that in the description. It's kind of like a spicy paprika pepper salt with a little bit of rosemary in it. And then Sel Basquaise. This is a little bit different. It's kind of like herbs de Provence with like some other stuff in it. I picked these both up on the Camino, believe it or not, and I mailed them home because I had to carry them over the Pyrenees, and then I had to mail them home when I got to Pamplona. They are wonderful spices, and when I cook with them, it reminds me, of that trip, which was so great. I like it when cooking can bring back a memory. I just read Midnight Chicken, and I think I might do a week devoted to that cookbook because there are some really great recipes in it. Some of them can be adapted to low carb, so that's nice. So again, like 1 garlic clove, a generous scoop of garlic confit if you happen to have some in the fridge. I feel like I'm always gonna have this in the fridge after reading Roy Choi's cookbook. It's really, I put it in everything now. So yeah, just saute up your onions, add your spinach, and then you wanna cook this until most of the moisture is evaporated, and then we're gonna add the cheeses. So I will see you in 2 shakes when we're ready for that. Okay, the onions and the spinach are dry now. I'm gonna add a little pinch of Sel Fou, just a teeny bit, and then some of this Basque salt. You just kind of want it to open up. And I'm gonna turn the heat off. And I'm gonna add our cheese. And I'm not gonna rush it because I don't want it to break. I just kind of want the cheese to get all melty, mix with the spinach. This is gonna be our filling for our chicken breasts, or chicken thighs, or chicken breasts if you want to Hasselback it. So just let this sit for a minute while we get our chicken breasts ready. So just let this sit for a minute while we get our chicken thighs ready. All right, so our cheese is nice and melty. That feta is not gonna get liquid. It's still gonna look kind of like cottage cheese, but don't worry, it'll melt up in the oven. I have 4 chicken thighs here. The pan I'm using is a little bit different. It's deeper and sort of shorter than the pan I normally bake stuff in, and that's because this is a pretty small dish. I also have a cup of red bell peppers diced up and half a cup of white wine. I've thought about leaving the wine out, but I don't think it'll taste the same, so I leave it in. This is a combination of spices that we're going to season our chicken thighs with. It is that Sel Basque, about like a teaspoon of that, Sel Fou, about a teaspoon of that, and then a half a teaspoon of lemon pepper. And again, this is just the way that I do it. I'll put links if you want to use these ones, but you are totally fine just using salt, pepper, and some like all-purpose chicken seasoning or all-purpose Greek seasoning. Try different things and see what works for you. So we're going to lay out our chicken thigh. Put a generous dollop of this filling on here. Roll it once. A little more. And you can secure these with a toothpick if you want. I don't. I just kind of put them, you know, folded side down so that they stay that way. It does get a little messy. And the amount of filling is going to vary depending on, you know, how thick your chicken thighs are, if you pound them down. You can feel free to pound them down and, you know, get them super, super thin, but I'm lazy, so I don't do that. And then you want to take your seasoning, just sprinkle it over the top. I add my bell peppers. You can tuck in the rest of this filling if you want. And then pour the wine right on top. Half a cup. Then we're gonna put this in the oven for 30 minutes at 350 degrees. We're gonna take it out, put a little more cheese on top, and then put it back in for another 5 to 10 minutes, just until the cheese melts. Okay, our chicken has been baking for 30 minutes. I'm gonna take it out. Take the cover off. Smells so good. Add a little more cheese on top. Again, this is pizza blend, but typically you just use like whatever white cheese you have, like mozzarella, provolone. I wouldn't use more feta because it doesn't quite melt the same way that this cheese does. And then we're gonna pop it back in the oven for 10 more minutes. 5 or 10, however long it takes for the cheese to melt. Okay, our chicken is all done. I just tested it with the meat thermometer. Always want to do this. Make sure it's 165 at least. 170, so we're good. Look at that. Doesn't that look amazing? I'm excited. All right. I'm gonna plate this and then we'll be done. Just look at that. I can't wait to dig into this.